Um, let's see. Wrapping up last week, I thought you look. I thought we played really well in the first half. I thought that's the type of team we've gotten used to seeing here at Mississippi State. We kind of played to the standard we expected to play, both defensively, just a little chip on our shoulder flying to the ball, the aggressiveness that we played with defensively. Made a lot of, with some big plays. They give us one-on-one opportunities. We made a lot of big plays down the field. And I thought we really played well in the first half. And to be honest with you, we came out and started solid for the third quarter, and then kind of, I think some of the guys kind of hit cruise control, and for us as coaches, we can't let that happen. We got to play for 4 quarters. Certainly, within the standard, the expectations we have, that we want guys to be able to do that and strain and play for the 4 quarters. I think human nature kind of creeps in every once in a while. You look at the scoreboard and where we're at. We didn't play as hard as we needed to in the second half. But the great thing is showing on film of our guys, we can show, I still think we got a lot of execution things we have to get better at. For us moving forward, but I love the edge that we kind of played with on Saturday. I mean, if we can keep that and continue to improve our execution and guys performing at a higher level, we're going to be in good shape. This week's game, obviously a real tough game. Louisiana Tech's an excellent football team. Got a lot of talented players, and it starts for me with their quarterback, who I think is a big time player. I've gotten to watch him play over the last couple of years in conference games. Even though we didn't face him, I think he was a guy maybe that took a lot of, unjustly was blamed for a lot of things that was happening on the team that he was at. And, you watch his performance at level, I think is big time. He's got a great arm, a very accurate passer, can make all the throws. He's a big physical guy when he runs the ball, and he's got a lot of athleticism. I mean, he's a real deal quarterback. I think you're really seeing it in his performance, how he's playing right now for them. It shows he's a legit big-time player. They got one of the best running backs in America. I know he didn't play last week, but I view that means he's extra rested for our game. So you put that in the backfield, makes them an extremely dangerous combination with some great receivers that can stretch you vertically down the field, make catches underneath. And they're an extremely explosive offense. Defensively, got some veteran players. They run the ball really well. They're coached excellent, really well coached. Disciplined team that plays hard, and you watch them. They play not just hard, but they play with a lot of confidence in making plays. So, you can see why they're such an excellent football team with what they've done and how they're coached, how hard they play, and you combine that with all the great talent that they have. Makes it a real challenge for us.
Questions? David?
How would you assess the offensive line play, particularly in the first half there?
I thought we played pretty solid at times. A couple mistakes here and there that were, you could see, that were glaring. And there's times we were excellent, and there's times that we had a couple of glaring errors for me within our technique or scheme, but it's not glaring. It's one guy glaring, and then we don't overcome that. But I thought overall, I wouldn't put it as their best game, but I thought they played solid.
We've seen a lot of flashes from Donald Gray. What have you seen from him just moving forward, bigger part of the offense?
Well, I think he's made some great plays down the field, vertically down the field. I think he's becoming a better route runner, a better every down player. He's made some, still makes some glaring errors that you don't see. That you got to really kind of know what you're looking at to see. That is just an experience deal for him when he had a couple of missed assignments in the game that you just can't have, that can hurt you. But I think his playmaking ability, we're seeing that come through. And But I'm also seeing him making some great plays on special teams for us. You know, he's a guy that's really learning how to be a football player at this level, and he's bought in the right way, and he's going to continue to grow and develop.
Coach, players obviously still have to execute, but how much of an advantage is it to have a coach on your staff that knows some of their trade secrets, so to speak?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you figure it all out on film anyway, so I don't know how many secrets there are in the game. So, you know, I think, you know, it just helps with familiarity. You know, if there's something that doesn't look normal, or if there's something that's kind of out of the norm, it's not bad to know why they're doing it or what they're trying to accomplish in that. But, you know, I mean, that's why we study the film all week. Usually, hopefully by the time the game hits, there's no secrets really out there. You should know what the other team's going to be doing.
How would you compare Dak's junior season to this season? How do you think he's evolved or regressed or progressed?
Boy, very different. I think, you know, last year, I mean, he was a big playmaker, made a lot of plays. Out there in the field, maybe some flashier plays, but I think, you know, I mean, his control of the game is so much better this year than last year. You know, I mean, in how he's handling situations, how he sees what's going on out there on the field. You know, his calm and his demeanor, and in both, in whether we've been ahead or whether we've been behind, you just see him, you know, trying to get out there, get the job done, lead the team to a victory, and whatever it takes. You know, where last year, you know, I mean, it might be him. I'm going to try to go make a big play to change the whole game around. Now it's I'm out here making sure we're going to do what it takes to win the football game, and I think that growth and that maturity is huge.
Ryan was kind of impressed in shadow a little bit last year. How big was it to him to have a game like he did this past weekend and kind of break out of that and have a big game himself?
Well, I think it is huge. He's the leader of the defensive line for us right now. I think just in the confidence. I think when you turn on the film of how our whole defensive line played, I thought they, as a whole, the defensive line certainly played the best game they've played this season. You know, I think Ryan was the beneficiary of that. It wasn't just Ryan putting on a show out there on the field. It was our whole D-line playing at another level. And he's the one that ended up with the best stats out of it because of what they were doing on the day. But I think that is as much everybody else on the D-line as much as it is him of causing some, getting penetration, causing some issues in the backfield and creating negative yardage plays. And he's the guy that ended up, I think AJ still leads the team in tackles for loss, but in that one game, Ryan's the one that kind of was the beneficiary of all the penetration we got up front.
A couple of weeks ago on the SEC teleconference, you'd said that you weren't sure if something were to happen to Dak, which of the two quarterbacks behind him would go in. Has Nick Fitzgerald kind of separated himself and become that guy as your number 2 quarterback?
Not at all. You know, if something happened to Dak, I think he goes into the game right now as the backup for, you know, that day. But if something happened to Dak, it'd be a wide open deal. I think they're pretty even. I think, you know, Fitz has the little advantage of Elijah was hurt in the spring, so he's gotten a couple more reps. But if we had to make a change at quarterback, I don't know that would be the case today. You know, I think he's done a great job. I think in the game Saturday, as being the 2 guy, you know, our goal going into the game was we wanted to get him in about that 3rd series, to give him a series in the first half. You know, the fact that I come down, you know, get the call Saturday morning, Elijah's been throwing up since 1 a.m. and Dak since 4 a.m. I mean, to me, I'm looking at Damian Williams saying, hey, you know, I know that we have a plan in place this year, but you got to get ready, man. I mean, there's 2 down right now that can't play in this game. And so I think that was more it than anything else. But I do think I'm really pleased with how Nick handled that. I don't think you could have asked for a better situation for Nick Fitzgerald, because he didn't find out he might be playing a whole lot until that morning. You know, I mean, when you're the backup, I think you see that a lot of times. That, you know, if they get called in right off the bench or ready to go. I think that there's really no better scenario, because if you get called in the middle of the first quarter because of an injury, you know, even leading up to kickoff, you're thinking, I got to be ready, but chances are I'm not going to play much. he showed up Saturday morning, and he was the guy running the walkthrough. He became the one Saturday morning. So he got a good night's sleep, and he was rested. He wasn't up all night worried about it. And he got to prepare the all day leading up to kickoff that there was a good chance he was going to be the guy to go play. So I think it ended up being a great situation for him. And I'm really pleased with how he handled it and how he performed. He did a fabulous job in that game.
How did you come out of the Troy game health-wise, and any updates on the guys that missed last week?
No, I don't. There's nothing new coming out of this game. I think we came out pretty, healthy. I mean, just this time of year, everybody's a little beat up and bruised up. But this week we got to see. Gus Wally. We hope to have him back this week. That was kind of the plan was. For him was that he should be good to go this game. If he didn't play the last two games, so he should be good to go at this point. I think Joe Morrow and Gabe Miles are going to be a little bit longer with the injuries as far as they'll be questionable this week. Talking to trainers yesterday, they're both progressing. I think Gabe maybe a little ahead of Joe right now in progression, getting ready to get back. So he could be available this week, but I don't expect him to practice a whole lot. It'd be more of getting ready at the end part of the week if he is cleared to go. Is there anybody else I'm missing or not?
Rufus.
Yeah, Rufus should be good to go this week. Rufus. I think the benefit we had from that is he could have played Saturday. It's one of those, with the ankle, he might play at 80% Saturday, and if he did that, he'd probably still playing at 80% again this week, where I think he's going to be back good to go this week.
I know Louisiana Tech has a quarterback with SEC experience, but they also got one of the top running backs that maybe not many people know about. How do you slow down an offense that does have that kind of capability?
Well, you just got to play sound. You got to get to the football. You got to be in your gap where you're supposed to be, and you got to understand that they have two great players. Great players are going to make plays during the course of a game. And what you got to do is just kind of limit the number of plays they make. You can't let that become a big issue for you. And they're going to have a quarterback. He's going to make some great throws. Okay, we got to respond and stop the next one. He's going to scramble out and create offense. We got to stop the next one. The back, he's going to break some tackles. We got to stop the next one. I think that is in the frustration is you don't get frustrated with great players. You just got to get up and continue to play sound for 4 quarters.
You talked about keeping Rufus out. How did you grade Elton his first start? He got most all the reps on left tackle.
Yeah, I thought he did okay. Some things he could be better at right there. But I think, within a game, I thought overall he did well. Not many missed assignments. Did decent in his execution. I think there's going to come some confidence. I think that game's going to certainly help him out moving forward right now in his confidence in that he can see how he played. He can see the ways he could have played better and how to be more confident to do those things moving forward and not as, a lot of times guys first start out there, they're worried about, they don't want to make a mistake. Instead of making a play, they're worried about making a mistake. And I think now he can kind of see how he can build his confidence off of that and go play even better in the weeks to come.
Kind of follow up my dad question way back when. Do you think that he's actually become a better quarterback this year, even though maybe the numbers or the height isn't there as it was last year?
I think he is much better this year. Like I said, the production numbers might not be as high right now for him. He might not have making these spectacular plays. But he makes some plays out there on the field that he wouldn't have been able to make last year. I'm not talking about running over a safety and diving into the end zone. I'm talking about he's getting to a 4th progression and getting the ball out of his hands to a guy that's wide open out there on the field. I think that is a real progression that he's made as far as becoming a quarterback instead of just a playmaker. I said coming in the season, what do you expect to see differently out of Dak? And I said he's going to make a lot of unspectacular plays this year that he wouldn't have made in the past, and not many guys in college football will make. But when you watch, when you go and study the game and you study the film, like wow, that's pretty great. A quarterback can do that, even though it's a 7-yard play. That's pretty good, and so I think that's where he's developed.
And you addressed winning your 50th game after the game Saturday. Just talk about the program in general, 7th year in, bowl games are expected every year now, and
Yeah.
just tell us where you think it stands.
You know what? I think we've, in coming here, I wanted to build a solid football program. And, we've had a tremendous amount of support from everyone in building a solid football program. From our athletic administration to our university administration, to our student body and how they support us, to our fan base and alumni and our boosters. I think this program has come an awful long way in the last 7 years as far as support, facilities, and performance on the field and off the field. And so I'm pretty pleased. I don't know where we're at. I mean, my goal is to win a championship every single year. I think the program as a whole is in pretty good shape. This season we got to try to keep struggling to win fighting to win a championship. But that's always a struggle in the conference that we're in. And I guess it's a neat deal. Only 3 people have ever won 50 games here before. So that's cool. I guess I've been able to hang on long enough to get there, right? The key is I might have a lot of wins as far as coaches here, but I think I have a lot of tenure as far as coaches here too. So, I guess it's just the pure mathematics of that. It's going to work out that way.
What's been different about the return game, specifically on the special teams? Fred Ross with a punt return, and then Brandon Holloway began the season with a kick return.
I think those guys are a little bit more veteran players, so they trust the scheme of what's going to happen out there on the field. And both of those things are huge when you have a guy that has the ability to go score, but also trust the scheme that's going on, so that they instead of, hey, I'm going to go try to return this for a touchdown, I know where it's going to hit as well, and how the blocks are going to be set up. And I think our guys on the kicking team are doing a really good job of understanding what's going on. Because it's not just about, when you hit the home runs like that, it's everybody understanding the scheme. It's not just the 1 or 2 blocks at the point of attack. It's the block 20 to 30 yards down the field at the end. And really both of those returns for touchdowns have come from, Brandon's return, honestly, 2 guys missed a block. But a lot of times, instead of chasing to go block the guy they missed, they understand what our scheme is. Somebody behind might get that guy. They know who that guy's supposed to block. They went forward and blocked the next guy. The same with the punt return. You watch our guys that force the punt back there that are blocking their last safety's line of defense, not getting into the block too early, not getting in too late, waiting and understanding when their block's going to become important. And I think that understanding's really helped us and made us a little bit more dangerous of a return team. It seems that way with somehow people are kind of kicking to us. They're trying to, we're getting a lot of roller punts and squib kicks and kickoffs that they're trying to kick it away from our returners.
How did Fred Ross emerge as the punt returner? Last year, was it back and forth? How did he kind of become the guy?
Because he catches it most consistently. To be honest with you, when you look at the punt return game, it's as much in lost yardage as it is gain yardage. At the end of the season, statistically speaking, how much yardage you lost in not fielding punts. Okay? Even when you have some big returns, sometimes the lost yardage outweighs even the gain yardage with a special player back there. So if you have a great talented guy back there that might be able to create a big play, in the long term, the statistics are, if he's not fielding all the punts the right way, he's losing you more yardage than he's actually gaining you with a big return over the long haul. So he ended up back there really because of his consistency.
You talked after the game on Saturday about how few offensive plays you had a chance to run, but Dontavian Lee got a good many carries and had a pretty good game and things. Is he a guy that you anticipate playing a bigger role in the offense in the second half of the year?
I do all those guys. One of us is, one is a lot of them still graded. I think a lot of people, as a fan or in the media, when you pick up a piece of paper, you look at the carries. Yeah, you don't look at, as a running back, I think he had 5 carries in the game, and I think he played 17 plays. So the key is studying the 12, not the 5, right? Because the 12 are much more important than the 5. And that's one of the things that you know, the two young backs, both he and Harris, are still developing on all of those plays to make sure they're grading out, because I can't have a running back in there that all of a sudden Dak's going to throw the ball and he has no idea what he's doing, and now we lost our quarterback. You know, so it's the play without the ball with young players is how fast they develop that way.
The kickers appeared to be neck and neck through the entire offseason. When did Weston kind of solidify his role and emerge as the guy?
I don't know. You know, I mean, just coming honestly into that first game week, he was more consistent that first game week. And, you know, when he got his opportunity out there on the field, he's been pretty steady with it since, you know. You know, as I said, in practice, I think, you know, one of the things like we've tried to do is keep him in good situations to kick the ball to build up his confidence as a younger player. And now I think, you know, he's kicking the ball pretty confidently. You know, and you can tell that not so much almost in his makes, but his confidence in his misses. Of, you know, when he misses, it's a pretty, you know what, I mean, he's look, this is exactly why, this is how we missed the kick. Or, you know, there's a confidence in a miss of, yeah, that the mistake was made here. I made that mistake here, and not like the frazzled, oh no, I missed the kick. Because it's not like he doesn't miss them. I mean, if you watch pregame warm-up, the last kick we did before we take it in, he missed that. You know, and then comes and looks and just say, hey, this is exactly what happened. You watch the next one drilled right down the middle. There's that confident in that. Even when he makes a mistake, he knows how to fix it right away.
He's talked about the plan with Damian Williams. Is his plan to redshirt this year, or what is the plan?
I mean, I know he'd like to do that. I mean, at this point, obviously, I mean, I think both, especially when you look at how Fitz came in and performed last week, how Elijah's come in and, you know, to me, Elijah, even sick, but, you know, stepping on the field, I thought how he came in and just, even the couple plays he got, how he just managed and handled himself, I think that'll definitely give the opportunity for that to happen to Damian. You never know with injuries. Right. But at this point, that you feel pretty comfortable, even if something happened to one of the three quarterbacks that are playing now, that you feel pretty comfortable with the other two being able to get the job done.
I guess what does that allow you to do, having him redshirt?
I think for him, you know, I mean, I think he probably would have liked to have redshirted his first year here, and injuries didn't allow that to happen. So it just allows it to me. You know, the interesting thing is going to be happening, and I talk to those guys all the time, is our quarterback situation is what it is right now today. To me, the second number 15 walks out the door, the whole slate's clean. Whatever you've done in the past no longer exists in my mind. It's guys going to compete of what they're doing now, because everything they've done in the past had been done with a guy in front of them, you know, and a 15 guy there that is the leader of the whole team. And so that slate's going to get wiped clean, you know, come springtime, because now somebody's got to emerge, not just as a good quarterback, as the leader of the program, and so that's going to be the future.
Great, thank you.